The first experience of Black Rock City for me was super strange because we arrive at Black Rock like as the sun's rising. It was gorgeous, but nothing's there. This was like day 2 of the Burning Man organization taking control of the site, if you will. And I remember this was like one person with a car and a lawn chair. And it was just like, hi. We're like, hey. I don't think they knew we were supposed to, like, there was miscommunication, and we're just, like, a couple of us show up with like a couple cars and like, we're here to survey the temple. And I'm like, cool, where do I go? What, like, I'd never been there, right? And there was nothing like to have any reference point. And so luckily they helped drive us out. We found this like stake in the ground. We just set up shop and started surveying the site. And you know, next thing we know, day after day, more people come, trucks come, our crew arrives, we set up camp. That's all I knew for the first couple weeks, building this big structure. And behind me, or behind but like the city is built. That was the first time I saw Burning Man. I was like turned around and I just like drove in or walked in to the city, and it was just this whole thing all of a sudden was there. It was unreal. It still amazes me every time I go out there, but that was one of those things. It was just like all of a sudden there's 70,000 people that weren't there. It was so cool. My name is Nathan Altman, and my friends call me Mary Poppins. I'm a large-scale collaborative artist. When I first went into the Burning Man's headquarters and I got off the elevator, Betty June, who was part of the art department, or led the art department at the time, should I say, she greeted me at the elevator and said, "You must be Mary Poppins." And I said, "Excuse me?" It's kind of a name that was, because I had no experience, nobody knew of me, and that they asked me to lead the project, so kind of coming out of, winds from the east or west or whatnot, so. I always try to solve the nastiest, hardest problem whenever I get into these projects. In life in general, like I try to at least acknowledge it, maybe not, and work towards it. The only way we're going to solve our climate issue is if we work together and we collaborate on this problem. It's not going to be some single easy thing to do. It's not going to be some miraculous technology that fixes it. It's really kind of a human problem around how do we organize ourselves and decide what we want to do. The lofty goal here is, could we have more people participate in one art piece and put their hand on the piece, then Burning Man can sell tickets. The way in which we're trying to do this is we want people to answer the question, what keeps you alive? In one sentence or a few words. And if you don't want to put Sharpie on your hand, that's fine, a piece of tape or something. But the idea is take a picture of your hand, whichever you're comfortable, a selfie picture or a picture with touching something that's fun, play with it a little bit. And then our crew and others around will take your message and do our best to analyze your hand and to cut a version of that out of steel and to actually engrave your message on it. So by a simple act that should take no more than hopefully a minute or two to pause and reflect. And I think that's going to be really special when somebody comes from afar and sees the macro version of the story, which is the world in hands. And as they approach, they'll see it cladded with hopefully hundreds of thousands of small hands with messages and unique messages that kind of remind us that we're in this together. The inner sun, as far as the structure itself, is a 84-foot in diameter whorl held in hands. So the full size of the piece is basically 100 feet from thumb to thumb, 160 feet from the fingertips to the wrists, and 84 foot tall. And then the really fun trick, and this is the nerdy bit that I really love, is like trying to figure out how to get people to the equator. And I felt that was a really fun way to represent what Burning Man is, because we have the world, right? And that center being the inner sun, being the core of the earth. So from that point on the palm deck, you're able to go through up the thumbs. We use the thumb to kind of get more elevation up. And then from there, there's these winding ramps that lead you up to the equator that's 42 feet in the air. When you see a piece of like structure burned to the ground, right? It's like, what I love about that is there's a lot of things that are, you know, but what I really care about is the fact that it's gone, in the sense that like, or it gets reimagined and remade into something new with the other pieces after the fire. And it's like, the point of that is like, there's a community of people that was built. And it really forces you to understand the value of the people around you and what, like, that's the reason why you're doing this thing.